Welcome back to Trend Guards, the explainer, where we prioritize verified facts and hard data over the hype. Today, we're breaking down what has to be the most confusing, paradoxical week in recent AI history. On July 21, 2026, Google pulled off a massive technical feat, successfully launching 3 brand new Gemini models in a single day. But here's the catch. Their highly anticipated flagship model, Gemini 3.5 Pro, was completely missing from the lineup. And honestly, this leaves the industry asking some very serious questions about Google's actual roadmap.
So, what exactly is happening behind the scenes at DeepMind? Does this split personality release strategy signal a genius pivot toward high-efficiency, specialized models, or are we looking at a company actively in crisis, struggling to ship its most important product? Well, let's dive right in and separate the confirmed facts from the rumors. We're going to look at exactly what dropped, what's missing, and what the data actually tells us about the future.
To really grasp the scale of this paradox, we need to trace the timeline, because it's been a chaotic sequence of events. Back in May 2026, Google officially announced Gemini 3.5 Pro at their I/O developer conference, firmly promising a June rollout. Well, June passed with a quiet push to July. Then, July 17th, which was the widely expected target date reported by industry insiders, came and went with 0 announcements. Finally, on July 21st, Google dropped a massive data dump and 3 new Flash models, but officially delayed the Pro model indefinitely. Okay, so that sequence sets the stage for the raw data we're analyzing today.
What's genuinely fascinating here is the sheer performance leap of their new workhorse model, Gemini 3.6 Flash. Based on Google's official benchmarks, it scores a 49% on DeepSWE version 1.1. That's a massive 12-point jump over the previous 3.5 Flash in long-horizon software engineering. But it gets better. In computer use, which is now a built-in client-side tool via the Gemini API, 3.6 Flash literally leads the entire field. It hit an 83% score on OS World Verified, actively beating out both OpenAI's GPT 5.6 Luna and Anthropic's Claude Sonnet 5. Those are absolutely substantial numbers for a mid-tier model. But frontier-level performance is really only half the story here. The official pricing for Gemini 3.6 Flash is incredibly aggressive. It costs just $1.50 per million input tokens and $7.50 per million output tokens. Plus, Google reports it uses 17% fewer output tokens on average. That means your real-world costs are driven down even further for a multimodal model with a 1 million token context window. Make no mistake, this pricing structure is designed to completely undercut the competition.
And that brings us to the second model, which is frankly a total speed demon, Gemini 3.5 Flash-Lite. Verified by the Artificial Analysis Index, this model runs at a staggering 350 output tokens per second. That makes it the absolute fastest in its 3.5 class, clocking in roughly 4 times faster than most frontier models currently on the market. If you're building fast response applications, a latency reduction like that is an absolute game changer.
So, why does a lighter model matter so much? It all comes down to the economics. At a verified price of just 30 cents per million input tokens, Flash-Lite fundamentally changes how developers can build at scale. If you're running high-volume, routine agentic workflows, think document processing, automated customer support, or autonomous web navigation, you can now hit near-frontier quality without paying flagship prices. It's a massive, practical win for enterprise deployment.
Right, so unlike the openly available Flash and Flash-Lite models, Google's third release, Gemini 3.5 Flash Cyber, is heavily restricted. Google's official blog specifically calls out the dual-use nature of this specialized cybersecurity model. Because of that, they're keeping it entirely out of public hands, restricting access exclusively to governments and highly trusted enterprise partners through a limited pilot program. This actually mirrors the really cautious, regulated playbook we've seen from competitors like Anthropic, and it signals that AI security models are basically being treated as defense assets now.
And honestly, the performance data totally explains their extreme caution. Flash Cyber operates within Google's CodeMender security agent. What it does is deploy multiple Flash Cyber agents that work together in tandem to hunt down system vulnerabilities and compile a combined report. Google claims this setup successfully matches the frontier cybersecurity performance of Claude Mythos 5 on the CyberGim benchmark. Basically, it's delivering top-tier exploit detection and analysis, but it's doing it at highly efficient Flash-tier operational costs.
So, where is the competitor to GPT 5.6 Ultra and Claude Fable 5? Well, on July 16th, Bloomberg explicitly confirmed the delay of Gemini 3.5 Pro, and they attributed it directly to, quote, coding performance failures. According to their reporting, the model just simply fell short on crucial coding benchmarks. This forced Google to actively test updated training data to try and close the widening gap with OpenAI and Anthropic. In today's AI landscape, falling behind in coding capabilities, that's simply not an option for a flagship product. And Google's official response on July 21st? It was notably vague. The official blog stated the model is currently testing with partners and will be available, quote, as soon as it's ready. They give us no new timeline, no pricing, and absolutely no updated benchmarks. Even the specs they previously touted, like that massive 2 million token context window, remain completely unconfirmed for the final release. This total lack of transparency is really only adding to the industry speculation surrounding what state this model is actually in. It's actually being compounded by a verified accelerating brain drain. As reported by Axios and Bloomberg, the talent exodus at Google DeepMind is hitting the absolute highest levels of the organization. John Jumper, who literally just shared the Nobel Prize for his groundbreaking work on AlphaFold, has departed after a 9-year tenure. And he was followed right out the door by Jonas Adler and Alexander Pritzel, both cited as key internal contributors to the Gemini AI models. Crucially, all 3 of these industry leaders transitioned directly to Anthropic, one of Google's fiercest competitors. Losing this caliber of talent right before a flagship launch, well, that is a major red flag.
Let's look at how this shapes the long-term picture. Through their official X account, Google confirmed that pre-training for Gemini 4 has formally commenced. They're calling it their most ambitious pre-training run yet. The official blog notes this run leverages their brand new Frozen V2 TPU chips, which are reportedly 6 to 10 times more efficient than their current hardware. So based on Google's historical 6-month training cycles, this strongly suggests they are aiming for an early 2027 release for a true generational leap. It's almost like they might be planning to skip over the 3.5 Pro hurdles entirely.
Let's break down exactly what this means for you, segment by segment. If you're a developer, the data clearly says you should leverage the incredible economics and speed of 3.6 Flash and Flash-Lite right now. The barrier to entry for complex workflows has literally never been lower. For enterprises, the actionable advice is pretty straightforward. Do not stall your internal roadmaps waiting for an unconfirmed Pro model. You should be evaluating models like GPT 5.6 Ultra and Claude Fable 5 today. Security professionals, you've got to navigate this new 2-tier reality. That means either applying for the CodeMender pilot program or pivoting to robust open-source alternatives. And finally, for investors, this complex landscape of brilliant Flash models sitting right alongside flagship delays and brain drains, it signals a critical moment to just hold and closely watch Gemini 4's progress into early 2027.
So, we've laid out the verified facts, the official benchmarks, and the confirmed departures. Now, the question goes over to you. Is Google's contradictory approach, shipping these incredibly efficient Flash models while scrambling to fix their Pro flagship and basically betting the farm on Gemini 4, is that ultimately a winning or a losing strategy? Think about it, and make sure to tune in to our next TrendGuards Explainer for more strictly verified tech news. Stay curious and stay ahead.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. It really helps the channel grow. See you in the next video.